Hi,
Hey,
hi.
how's the old audio on my end?
Uh,
Oh,
do you not have Twitch muted again? Hello, Bradley.
oh
Hello.
no,
He's already dead. I can't
I'm
believe
dead.
it. Oh
I'm
no,
dead.
he's
I'm
dead.
too. I'm too much of a fucking boomer for this.
To, uh, just like up. The Mets kicking and
I, I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Woo! All right then.
woo.
Well, here we are.
Here we are, another episode, round two. Oh my god, I can't believe we haven't been canceled yet. I don't know who would
This
cancel us. Only ourselves.
this piece of shit book.
What do you mean? I actually like this book.
Okay, no, I had a really good time reading it as well, but the cover tells you everything you need to know about it. There is nothing like I don't have words for this. I'm sorry, this book fucked me up.
This book fucked me up. All right, before Brad, you're jumping. Brad, you're jumping ahead.
I know.
We have to do some things first. We gotta greet the lovely people watching. This is a review podcast of our book club of sorts called Gentleman Review. I'm Jordan, aka the real cozy boy, and I'm joined by.
My name is Brad. I am Magister Yesick and a reluctant co-host of this podcast where we read the
He loves
absolute
being here. He loves being
worst
here.
books known to man.
Hey, I've got a fun thing we can open up with before we
Oh yeah.
dive into the wine review. So it's Halloween 2 today. You know, the day after Halloween, known as Halloween 2, where you go to your local store and you buy some half off candy or whatever candy's on sale, right? So the tradition, I always make sure to buy Laffy Taffy because on Laffy Taffy, there's these wonderful things that they like to call jokes on them.
Oh,
Right?
they're fantastic.
And I love
They're
to
so good.
torture my friends with these amazing jokes. So let's dive into a couple of these. I grabbed the banana flavored. So
Oh,
why?
Stephanie. No, we're doing this. She probably has PTSD from, and Claudia as well, from
History.
repeated and prolonged exposure to Laffy Taffy jokes.
Oh,
So,
don't worry.
Jordan, let's unravel a few and show the boys and gals what we got.
All right. So I have a banana one. Why do bananas like gymnastics?
Ooh, this ought to be good.
Oh.
Pray tell, Jordan, why?
Wait, shit! I need to do something. My co-host just. I have to change the title. I didn't change the title. I didn't.
You fool.
I'm a bad host. Gentleman Review Episode 2. What is this book called exactly?
Oh, this is the haunted vagina, my
The
friend.
haunted. I'm not gonna.
And I would
I'm just
also
gonna put
like-
the haunted V because I don't think you can have vagina in your title.
probably a good move. This book, I would also just like to say before we get into these straight Laffy Taffy jokes, this book and this episode are both dedicated to Andre the Giant.
Oh, they are. They are both
The
dedicated.
best of boys.
The best of boys. Oh, nope. Oh. This accidentally minimized. Okay. All right. Let me grab my Streamlabs back up. Let me get my setup. All right. Yeah. It's they like to make splits. You got it, Stephanie. You did it. So let's jump into the next one. How does a tree go home when ready?
Oh God. Oh God. Tell us.
It
I'm on the edge of my
leaves.
seat.
It leaves.
Fuck me.
All right, Brad. So
That's a sip of wine for me.
we'll read two more. But would you
Oh,
want
God.
it from a grape flavored, an apple flavored, or a strawberry flavored?
There's an apple. Apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what old fucking I almost said Mark Zuckerberg. Who is the Apple man? Tim Cook? What's the other Apple man? Steve Jobs?
Yeah.
Let's see what old Steve Jobs is haunting us on old Halloween 2. Let's see what fucking grab by the ghoulies jokes he can give us. How do birds chat with each other?
Oh no, I know what it is. Go ahead.
Tweets.
There it is.
All right, one
There
more.
it is.
Why did the imaginary woman wear lipstick?
The imaginary woman?
Yeah, the imaginary woman.
Oh God, why?
She was made up.
That's good. All right. Well, that was a
Also,
great
what's up?
episode,
What's up?
guys.
Hey,
Go
wait,
on.
Brad. What's the snake's favorite subject?
Ooh. Let me think. Is it hiss?
Delete.
Oh my god, Brad, you got it. You're so fucking funny.
Holy shit. I can't believe it.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. I'm so funny. With my mouth full of Laffy Taffy.
Oh, I would also like to say this is the first episode where we are streaming from my new computer. We're not streaming from my computer, but I'm using my new computer.
Oh my
And
god,
I'm
Brad.
absolutely thrilled to tell everyone.
That's so fucking cool, bro.
It is a beautiful chef's kiss PC. Jordan helped me build it, and maybe we kissed when we did it. Who knows?
Dude, what happens if we kiss under... What happens if we kissed in Anne Frank's attic? Wouldn't that be fucking quirky?
Oh, that'd be so wild.
God,
That would just be so quirky, bro.
dude, we should read Fault in Our Stars one day and then,
I can't.
realize what's wrong with people. So, before we keep, not diving into our book review, we have to do our first step. We drink wine while doing this because we're gentlemen.
We are.
Gentlemen reviewers.
I'm even wearing my robe.
I'm actually wearing the robe you see in this wonderful...
I'm going to get a robe. I have to get a robe now because once I saw your robe, I was like, fuck, I need a robe.
Oh, this thing is so nice.
So,
It's like a hug. It's amazing.
Brad, what are you drinking?
I don't do red wines very well. I think I said this last episode, but I am drinking from a box. This is Nighthawk Gold, and this is a vibrant Sauvignon Blanc. It's very floral, 12.5% alcohol by volume.
Ooh, wow.
And this is fucking delicious.
Wait, now I need to figure out where's my
What
alcohol?
do you have?
I'm trying to find my alcohol content on this. I don't think it has it. Which seems illegal.
Apparently, this box wine has won over 50 medals.
That's a lot of metal.
That is a lot of
That
medals.
sounds like
That's 50
that-
more medals than I've ever won a medal.
That sounds like that wine's dad is gonna come home today. It's not gonna be left out in the cold,
I swear, my dad went to the furthest gas station for cigarettes.
It
blows my mind.
He told me that if I beat Donkey Kong, he'd come home, and he never did. Sad days.
That fucking minecart level still got me hung up.
Got me
Here
hung
I
up.
am.
So I went to the store today to buy candy for Halloween 2, and I had to pick up some wine for today. I saw a bottle that intrigued me, and I was going to get that one, but then I saw this one. This one is called 7 Deadly Zins. So Zins, because this is a 2017 low deal Old Vine Zinfandel.
Low deal?
Lodi, Low die, Old Vine. So I guess maybe that's the winery or something. I don't know.
I don't speak wine.
But-
I've never felt more out of touch.
So
than
my
when I'm
favorite
trying
thing
to-
about this is that there's a normal 7 Deadly Sins wine, and on this bottle it has old parchment. It has a 7, but this one they added a little Z to it, just a little. They added a little little line to make it a Z, and it's got a halo, and then it's got wrath, greed, envy, vanity, sloth, gluttony,
this is
lust.
like the BMX version of wine. This isn't your grandfather's wine.
I
This is
haven't-
fucking cool wine.
I haven't taken a sip yet, but by the smell of it, it smells like an old boot.
Oh god, that's amazing.
I
Does it
thought
taste like an old boot.
I haven't tasted it yet. I thought Zinfandel was the pink wine. What is the pink wine called? Rosé?
Rosé.
Maybe
yeah.
that's what I was thinking. That's the sweet
That's
one
about
that
as
tastes
red as
good.
I'll go.
No, that's the one that tastes good because it just tastes like sugar.
Right.
Not an angry man who's gonna beat me with a belt.
I don't want to have to learn how to enjoy it. I just want it to taste good.
God, it smells like an old boot. All right, let me taste it.
I guess that makes me a simpleton. A man without culture. Is it as bad as last week's wine?
You know what? It's not, because last week's wine made me hurt. This one just kind of... it tastes like grandma's basement. When you walk into your grandparents' basement and it's always somehow musty and always
I
kind
don't
of...
understand the smell of an old person.
It's like musty leather, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they always got leather furniture. Because, that's...
course they do.
And it's genuine leather because, that's glass. That's...
From a different time.
Oh, that's how you know you made money. I won capitalism. I have a leather couch. But, God, this is I'm not gonna win because my favorite thing is Katie also bought wine and she bought apple pie wine and I poured her that glass and I was like, man, I fucked up. I should have got that because it smelled fantastic. It smelled like apple pie straight up. It was, and I'm like,
amazing.
even my mom liked it. My mom hates wine. She was like, oh, this is really good. And I'm just, yeah, I gave her a little bit. She said it was really good, and I'm over here with grandma's fucking basement.
Oh, God, that's just like apple.
All right,
maybe,
honey,
maybe I should pick out your wines from now on.
No, I need to.
Okay, because if I had to give out of 5 stars,
And take this with a massive chunk
That's
of
just
salt,
apple
I would
juice.
give this a 4 out of 5. This is delicious.
4 out of 5. I would give this a 1.
man,
This is a 1. Just a 1 out of 5. No. Well, not if we were gonna let people pick wine, I would let Sam pick all our wine. If we were gonna let somebody pick our wine,
Let's see.
I would
don't
go
even
straight to
think
the
Sam's here
source.
Right now. Sam is not here right now, but I agree.
Wow,
Sam,
fuck Sam.
she-
You know what?
that-
Fuck Sam. All my homies
Some
hate Sam.
friend She is.
She never shows up. She's probably laying on a couch, talking to her friend Joshua, eating hot chips, not knowing how to cook.
God, too real, man.
Too real. But Bradley, real fast, did you see what I put in the picture frame this week for Gentleman Review?
Oh, I saw it. I didn't know if we were going to address it. Do we want to go ahead and cross that bridge now?
No, I just wanted to make sure you knew. I don't want anybody
Oh, I
else to
see
know
it.
about it. I just want you to know that it exists, that it's
I
there.
aspire to that.
That's what I want to
out of
be.
my life.
I want to be a guy. I want to be the guy at the convention that you would, if you saw, you'd walk the other way.
Yep.
Like you'd be like, no, thank you. I'm good. Hard pass from me, fam.
So it's not the next. We're gonna cover it in today's episode, but we'll probably save this one, maybe for the end, just because it's so fucking weird.
It'll be a little treat. Just a little treat. Something to wet your whistle. But today we are talking about the book called. I'm sorry, I burped. I'm so sorry. We are reading the book called The Haunted Vagina by Carlton Malik III.
This book.
This fucking book.
It's like a pamphlet. This book is like 60 or 70 pages long.
Oh.
You can read it in an hour and a half.
Yeah, I read it. Yeah, I read it in an hour and a half, one straight sitting, start to finish, and the whole time just like, huh.
It gets
Huh?
weird. Yeah, like you read it, you're confronted with some really strange things, and then it just continues to get more bizarre. And speaking of that, so this book is actually a part of a, literarily speaking, recent genre. So they call it bizarro literature. And there's a certain publishing house called Eraserhead Press. And they were founded in 1999. So they're like 21 years old. And they publish the absolute weirdest shit in this like kind of new genre. And The Haunted Vagina. Oh God.
What's up?
I broke it.
What'd you
I'm
break?
back. I broke it. No, I got a new mouse, so I hit the back button. I'm basically just being a complete internet boomer. Don't worry about me.
These books can drink. That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think this book was written in like 2006. So it's like this is not really a recent book, and this genre has kind of been around for a while. There's conventions. It's like Bizarro Con. Like it's this whole thing. It's this whole subculture that I definitely did not know existed. And it's fucking weird. Oh, Jordan.
I'm sorry. I was just blown. I was like, in my head, I literally was like, this motherfucker did research. Fuck this guy.
I did. I have tabs.
I'm like,
Because this shit's so weird to me.
I'm just like, fuck this guy. I just read the book. I read the book and played.
It's okay. We're gonna get into all of this. I have a few little treats that we're gonna sprinkle about
Ooh.
the episode.
Just a little treat for me.
Will some take the edge off.
Mm.
So I think we should kind of go ahead and dive into this bad boy and show everyone what we're
All right, so you know what, Brad? All right, Brad. Let me just let me take the reins. All right,
Take us on a walk.
fuck you, Brad. I mean, I love you, Brad. Sorry, I'm drinking. I'm getting my inner donut out right now. So, the book opens up with the author's note says, "I miss Andre the Giant." And
Don't we all?
my favorite thing is that this quote was said in 4/14/2011, 8:48 a.m. Like, damn, man woke up thinking about the giant, you know?
That was a dream.
That was, you know, he was thinking about the Princess Diary. Princess Diary? Princess Bride? Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. Very different movie than Princess Diary, which
What?
I don't believe I've seen.
Either of them.
Claudia had some
You've never seen them. You're blind, actually. Brad's actually blind.
I've fucking seen Princess Bride.
All of
That
the-
movie's amazing.
I've never seen the Princess Bride.
You piece of shit.
Okay, I've never seen
How
the
have
Bride.
I finally
Okay,
seen something that you haven't?
all right, shut up, Boomer. I saw it really high. I just don't remember anything about it. Okay. So, fuck you. So, we open up with this couple named Stacy and Steve.
Ooh.
And they're sleeping together in their bed. And Steve hears some weird spooky noises. He's been hearing them for a while. And he's like, "Huh, what's this?" And he realizes spooky noises coming from his significant other, Stacy. And he just goes, "Hey, hun, I hear voices. What's up with that?" And she's just like, "Haha, my vagina's haunted." And he's like, "Fuck off. Fuck off. You're lying to me." And she's like, No, listen." So he puts his ear to... So let me read it. It was like listening to the ocean in a hairy, fleshy seashell. So, and then, he puts his ear up to this. And he hears voices. A voice. And it sounds like a crying woman. And he's just like, "Yo, bitch, what the fuck?" And she's just like...
Keep in mind, this is a cold open. We're provided no other information. It just immediately just dumps us into the scenario. I mean, the fucking opening sentence to the book is, "I've been scared to have sex with Stacy ever since I discovered her vagina was haunted."
"Oh, my wine. It's beating me up." But, so he's like, "Yo, we should do something about this." And she's just all like, "Nah, it's been like that my whole life." And he's like, "Huh?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's fine. All right, let's fuck because you're scared of my vagina now."
Which apparently
they're
gets her off.
They're
Like,
engaged.
And she's also described as kind of like a
She's like a 7-foot tall
skinny
Asian woman.
Bayonetta Asian woman.
Yeah,
with,
she's
like,
just...
little glasses.
That's what she is. She's fucking Bayonetta, bro. Oh my god, he's fucking Bayonetta with a haunted vagina.
And so she's not like muscular, but she has like the strength of like Snoo. Like
No.
she's slender.
No. That's the thing is, she's not strong. The main character's just such a manlet that she could just fucking yeet him around. It's not that she's strong. He's just such a manlet. She can just fucking yeet this man around.
It's awful. It's awful. But so as he's listening to her vagina, he hears things like a woman crying. That sounds like a babbling in a deranged language. Then she screamed into my ear, and I jumped out from between Stacy's legs. So she like, gotcha. She put a little prank on him.
Gotcha,
And
bitch.
And this whole book is written in like the present tense. And it's written in a very juvenile, easy to understand style, and which apparently is a staple of this genre, which it tackles like insane topics like this. This is very different than last week where we had like an actual romance novel that was just in like a kind of weird setting.
Like, he's not trying to throw out big words to, "Oh, I just spilt my wine all over myself. Ah!"
Oh, you fool.
I knocked it with my mouse. Ah!
You fool.
Oh my god. Wait,
This is an evening for blunders.
this is such a blunder. No. Oh my, I spilt it, want you to know, directly fully into my crotch. Like,
You idiot.
like it went fully into my crotch. Fuck me, bro.
But anyway,
Brad, carry the podcast. I'm having this problem.
as Jordan is
Oh, episode
dabbing his
2,
crotch,
I need to move this second episode. Oh, no.
so Stacy, Bayonetta here, tells him, she goes, "I'm haunted," she said, touching her vagina and smiling. And he says, "How did a ghost get in there?" And she says, "I don't know. It's been in there for a long time now." And he asks her why she hasn't done anything, like calling a priest or something. And she's like, what is he going to do? Stick a cross up there and cast the spirits out? Like, all the humor is really bad.
Of course it is.
The dialogue is extremely cringy, but it's really funny. Like, I actually really enjoyed reading this book. I would read other books by this dude because they're fucking hilarious. So, anyway, he also interjects completely unrelated sentences into the middle of like a paragraph. So there'll be a string of dialogue, and then he'll say, "I frowned at the sailboat on the wall behind her."
Yes, that line made me fucking laugh. I was like,
Understand.
"Oh, sad sailboat, sad sailboat."
But she, I guess scaring men with her haunted vagina is something of a kink for her. And she
Which,
goes,
you know, if you had a haunted vagina, I think developing a kink around your haunted vagina is just the go-to.
That's a natural progression. So she says, "Who else has a haunted vagina?" Flattening the bush of pubic hair and spreading the lips to examine it. "My other boyfriends thought it was kind of sexy." And so,
I can stand up. Give me a second.
this
Oh, my
this
poor
next
chair.
sentence is fucking hilarious. Jordan, you animal. So, immediately after this conversation of, "What's wrong with you?" "Oh, my vagina's haunted." "Oh, that's weird." They immediately have sex. And the author says, "She had me pinned down underneath her, sucking on my crusty lower lip, sliding my penis into her ghostly regions, and getting off on the terrified look on my face. But for me, it was the most awkward sex I'd ever had. I swear I could feel strange things inside of her that night, ghostly breaths against the tip of my dick." I know, if I had a haunted vagina, I would obviously terrify men with it, and I would immediately find a way to monetize this. But yeah, crusty lower lip. That was such an unnecessary detail, and I actually laughed out loud when I read it. So the author, well, I guess Steve, the main character, is constantly to the reader reaffirming his just like head over heels love for Stacy. And
I'm sorry, I'm just cleaning up. I'm almost done.
You're fine. He says, the author goes, "She meant everything to me. I loved her this much." And he has two fucking, like, a less than and, like, greater than bracket.
What?
And it's in parentheses. It says, "That means infinitely." So it seriously is like it's written by a 7th grader. This whole book is fucking awful. So let's see. So they have sex.
I'm sorry, give me a
It's this
second.
weird experience.
I have to
You're
clean my
fine,
mouth.
Jordan.
I have to move everything. Give me a second. I don't have my headphones on.
The
Technical
podcast is broken. Oh, this is awful. Cancel the episode.
Alright, I think we should be good. Hopefully my mouse isn't broken. Let me put my headset back on. Alright.
God
Here we
damn
go.
it, Jordan.
I'm episode 2. It's the funny episode.
Yeah, this is great, buddy. All right, Jordan.
Hello.
How you doing? You be
I'm-
back? Are we good?
I had to completely change my outfit because I had so much wine in all of my crevices.
Oh, that's horrifying to me.
You're welcome.
Well, picking back up, so right
Mhm.
where we were in the book. So, Steve becomes aware of her haunted vagina, and they have sex, and
Yeah.
she sucks on his crusty lower lip.
Yes! And the worst thing ever is like the word crusty gets brought up a lot.
I don't know why.
Like bro is like, you know what's bizarre? Crustiness. And I'm like, are we sure about that one, Chief? Are we
It's
sure
disgusting.
about that one, Chief?
But right after that, after our intimate and passionate sex scene, which kind of reminded me of the awful and totally unnecessary sex scene, like right at the beginning of The Room. Jordan, I'm assuming you've seen The Room. Have you seen The Room, Jordan?
Yes. There's
Okay.
all the sex scenes in the room are unnecessary. I'm gonna pour
Exactly.
myself wine again, and we're gonna do this round 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Please be careful. So they go back and explain how Steve and Stacy met, which apparently they both. Go ahead.
Also, the way they do that is the most fucking jarring way ever. Because it's not like on to chapter 2, How I Met Stacy. It's like in like the middle of it, he does like this
It's
like
just the next paragraph.
Yeah, let me put this in what is it? It's this. It like he's like, I love her this much, and he puts that like in the book, and I'm like, hey, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, it means infinite because it's greater than less than, facing the opposite way. And I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up, shut your stupid mouth. I'm like, god damn. And then it also jumps into being like, I met her on the bus.
So they apparently passed out on the same bus together, and his head was in her lap, and they were just kind of cozily both passed out together. There's no explanation as to how they got to that point, but they're like, hey, this wasn't that bad. Do you want to continue doing this?
Dude,
So
straight to it.
Her house, and they just sleep.
Oh yeah, she's like, I have a fluffy bed. You want to come back? So my favorite thing is when I was reading this, I thought they fucked, and then she was like, all right, let's go to my place and sleep on my bed. Like, I was so like out of it reading this that I didn't realize that it was like, oh, we're in the past now, baby.
They just become nap buddies, and this is how they met. So they literally just take naps together and sleep, and it's this completely like non-sexual thing. And then we get a bit of backstory on Stacy, and it's almost like they took the trope of like the manic pixie dream girl and then just fucked it all up. Like what is it? Okay, she was born in Thailand, adopted by a wealthy African American couple, speaks Russian
because she went to college for 12 years.
Oh yeah, because she was so rich, she just got degree after degree after degree in like completely useless things, according to the book. So after she kind of ages out, I think she hits like 30, and her parents are like, all right, I'm not going to pay for this anymore. She just has a bunch of degrees that won't get her a job. And what is it? She has degrees in philosophy, history, Russian, anthropology, psychology, and humanities.
Yep.
So she just gets a job at a hipster clothing store.
Because, haha, funny, quirky.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
And then she finds her true passion in life, fashion design. And so
what she thinks her true passion in life is.
Right. And so she saves up all of her money to go back to school. Because now mommy and daddy are not going to pay for it.
My mommy and my daddy.
And Steve never went to college. Steve is just your average, everyday, every man.
He's me and you. Hey,
what's up? And so, let's see. He plays guitar. He's just kind of this like, his band sucks, and nobody really wants to listen to his
my favorite thing, it wasn't a band. It was just him.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was just him. It wasn't a band. It was just him playing guitar and singing.
Oh God! It says I got sick of the lack of applause. I got sick of people ignoring me.
I'm just
at their tables like I wasn't even there.
I'm just a nice. I'm just a nice guy. Girls should notice me.
So Stacy, from all of her position or privilege, encourages Steve to just keep doing it because it makes him happy, and tells him that this wasn't all a waste of time. So let's see. I didn't realize she was in love with me for months after that. She always said I was cute and small. I love that.
Like a terrier is also cute and small, and I wanted her to love me more than she loved a terrier.
Like, it's funny. Carlton is really funny, or as he's known on the internet, CM3, the author. So he writes some pretty funny shit in this book, but eventually, they make love. It says, we were walking in the park blocks down by the art museum, talking about music. She told me she wanted to build a theremin, start a band. I asked if I could be in her band. She said no.
Imagine
she
that.
wanted to play Schubert and, I guess, I don't fucking know.
It's Debussy. It's Debussy. It's
We're not
pronounced
saying
Debussy.
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 Anyway, then she talked about how she planned to give a theremin rendition of Death and the Maiden and how she wanted to incorporate it into bondage performance.
Which I'm just
This
like,
book has a lot of just pointless, like, filler shit.
wait, Jade just got taken out by Nightbot for some reason, and I
Wait,
find that
I got sniped earlier, and now she's getting sniped.
good. Take her out.
It's justice. It's justice. And here, so as they're walking in the park this night, we meet who my favorite character in the entire book is.
Donut.
This is a homeless guy named Donut. So as we were walking, we passed by a grubby homeless man, probably 40 years old, sleeping on a park bench, shivering, wet. I recognized him. His name was Donut, or at least I've heard his friends call him Donut. And so, Steve, being the kind gentleman that he is, takes off his expensive coat and he gives it to Donut. And we'll soon learn that Donut is a complete asshole and probably the greatest character in this book. But he takes his coat off, gives it to him, and let's see. That's it.
He just get.
It's like this. You can't keep up with this fucking book.
He's just like, my favorite thing is that Donut just screams at him, like, because, like, he's like, yeah, when I first moved here, I would give homeless people whatever I had, but in Portland, because I don't, I had cash, but now I pay with everything card, so I don't have cash anymore. But Donut would harass him, being like, hey, give me your money, give me money, give me money. So he'd give me money, and then he would follow me asking for more money, and then when I said I didn't have any more, he would just say, well, you're a Nazi, Sig Heil, and then just follow around screaming at him and Sig Heil. And this dude's like,
call him racist.
And this dude's all like, all right, whatever, you're cold, Donut, here's my $200 jacket. Socialism, I guess, probably. I don't know.
And he specifically says that he gives him stuff, like he gives Donut things to prove that he's not racist.
Yeah, he's like, I gave a black guy money, and I'm not racist. And then Donut's like, Hitler, and it's like, okay, I don't know
Keep
why.
in mind that Donut has no, like, relevance in this
Oh,
book
he literally
whatsoever.
does nothing. And then after giving this coat to this homeless man, Stacy's like, I'm in love with you. Let's go fuck. And then they fuck. And then that's how that chapter ends.
Oh, God. And then apparently, so chapter 2 opens...
Hands down
Go
the
ahead.
worst chapter. Hands down the fucking worst chapter. Because if I ever found out a human being ate this way, I would execute them on the spot.
Okay. So this is where Carlton goes into some completely unnecessary detail. So first off, Stacy and Steve have not had sex for over a month, but he's still like madly in love with her. And out of nowhere, he just says, "This is the way she eats a burger," from Carl's Jr.
Sorry.
So she apparently disassembles everything. She'll wipe off all the mustard, mayonnaise, and ketchup with a plastic butter knife and swirl it into a puddle on the burger's wrapper. And then she'll disassemble the burger and cut the buns into small squares. She'll stab a piece of bun with her fork and then stab one other ingredient. Either a chunk of meat, cheese, a pickle, tomato, or lettuce. And then she'll swirl the food in the sauce and eat it. I like my food separated, she always says. I like to control the flavor. And then he just goes on and on about.
He's like, she does it with
two things
pizzas,
together.
burritos, sandwiches, lasagna, even curry stew. And then she's like, oh yeah, she'll go to like a Mexican restaurant and order a burger. She'll go to a burger joint and order fajitas. And then she'll go to Chinese, get sushi, chow mein, and Japanese. So fucking quirky. And I'm just like,
Isn't she so quirky?
and I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. I'm gonna end somebody's life. This whole chapter is about like everything he loves about her, but describing this human being, I would just beat up. I would beat this fucking human being up.
And
I'm
she's
like, no.
awful.
I'm like, no, this is garbage. You're a bad person.
And then all the while in the background, they're just not having any sex anymore.
Yeah,
And
he's like, I'm still in love
really
with her.
torn up about
I love her, but I'm just really torn up. She's not touching my pee-pee anymore.
So chapter 3 opens up and it just reminds us that they haven't had sex in a while and it's starting to take a toll on the relationship. And Steve expresses his discomfort with the little amount of sex that they have. And they're like, well, they're both interested in giving anal sex, but nobody wants to receive it. They both want to receive oral sex, but no one wants to give it. And so we just have a classic scenario of two super fucking selfish people who are just assholes and they're awful.
I don't want to eat your vagina. You eat my dick. And she's like,
and here, this is the chapter where we learn what this made me like want to crawl out of my skin.
Oh boy, I'm so excited to hear what it is.
So we learn that Stacy has a pet name for a clitoris.
Oh yeah, Pog.
And so they're talking with each other and they're bargaining like any good couple does with sex. It's just this fucking chore and you have to bargain with your partner about it. But she goes, it's not like you have to stick your tongue inside of me. You can just lick my glowworm.
Oh, the reason they're not having sex too is because he's scared of the haunted vagina.
As any normal person would be. But she tells him it's okay. You can just lick my glowworm.
My clitoris.
You don't have to go anywhere near my actual vagina. Just lick the glowworm. And I fucking gagged. That's disgusting. I hate that so much. Did that have like an effect on you? Because that like profoundly bothered me.
I was just like, huh.
This may as well happen.
This sucks. Hate this.
So they go on to have this really like mechanical, awkward sex.
Oh, it's like the fucking worst thing ever.
She picks him up and like flips him upside down into a 69 where he's on top. And then they just both kind of reluctantly go at it. And she's like squeezing her legs together because he's terrified of her vagina and doesn't want to hear any of the sounds that come out of it. So let me see. I know I saved some fucking text from here because it's so gross. She's like biting his scrotum. So she lifts my ass and twists her neck until she can get beneath me.
She makes fishy lips around my dick like a goldfish bowl.
Her front teeth dig into my skin, killing any sort of erection I almost had.
But then he looks at her making the fish lips and like, back on board, baby.
She hasn't had sex for so long that riding a bicycle would probably give her an orgasm.
Ah, yes, that famous line.
So he sucks the glowworm into his mouth, slurping it in and around the skin as deep into my mouth as it will stretch. And then I release it and suck it in again.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just keep going.
Let me see. I do that to the rhythm of her blowjob, and inside of my mouth, I tickle it with my tongue, and the glowworm dances happily beneath my lips.
And then this is where it gets fucking weird because then there's a rumbling inside of, because now she spread her legs open and you can see the vagina. So there's a rumbling inside of it, like a mild earthquake in the distance. The lips spread and a voice calls out to me, and he's just like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. So he's like, I start looking faster to get out of here. And then he closes his eyes and keeps doing it. But he's like, they're both getting close to getting off, but then something bumps inside of her and starts pushing on his stomach. And he's like, hey, what the fuck? And her whole stomach starts to inflate like she's pregnant. And he's like, huh? What? And her belly expands, lifting me up several inches. And she, like, Stacy now just realizes something's going on after, like, she starts to inflate like a balloon until she reaches, like, 7 inches. She's just like, what? Okay. And then, so he's freaking out. So, of course, he comes, of course, busts a nut straight in her mouth, and she's just gagging as he's just being fucking skyrocketed into the air by her growing stomach. And then the worst possible thing happens. A skeletal
hand shoots out of her vagina.
A skeletal hand
and it shoots out. Steve is fucking, his mind is blown and he's terrified. And this hand starts clawing against her thigh like it's trying to drag itself out. And suddenly another hand emerges and it's clawing against her thighs, it's pulling itself out. And before you know it, there's half an entire full grown human sized skeleton coming out of her like she's giving birth. And like the book goes into detail to explain that like she doesn't tear or anything, she just becomes weirdly elastic, and this whole fucking skeleton crawls out, and then fucking Steve like shoves a dresser down on its neck and like severs its spinal cord.
Yeah, he fucking murders it. He's just all like, all right, time to die. Gink.
And then it fucking falls down, snaps its spinal cord, and then it just kind of melts and turns into like oopy goopy.
Oopy
and then he has
goopy.
To pull the rest of it out of her. And then they're both just fucking terrified.
And then it melts. Fully just turns into that oopy goopy.
Let me see. Stacy is crying in a panic now. Her face bright red, her mouth drooling wide open, her eyes so squinty wet that she can't see anything.
Squinty wet.
Do something, she cries. But I don't know what to do. I pick up a turtle-shaped lamp and hit the skeleton with it. The turtle's head pops off. I hit harder, and then harder, until I find the right angle to break its skull. I cut my hand on the shattered lamp, and blood spills onto the corpse. It's still moving. And all this, like, before he kills it, as it's crawling out of her, flesh and, like, organs are, like, growing. They're, like, materializing like moss, like, sped up onto the skeleton. So it's slowly, like, assuming skin and everything.
Huh. You know, you saying that now makes, like, the later stuff in this book make sense to me now.
It's fucking disgusting. So, it says, blood red balls fill the eye sockets of the skull, and the skeleton looks up at me. It releases a deep moan. I run to the corner of the room and pick up the nightstand, knocking clocks, glasses, and a jar of coins all over the floor. The skull watches me, cries at me, as I lower the nightstand onto its neck, and I drop all of my weight on it. So, oh god. So at this point, the skeleton's like still halfway inside of her. So like I said, he yanks it out, and it just melts, and that's where the chapter ends. And it's this fucking super traumatizing moment. And it's this. I remember I was talking to Jordan this morning, and I said, "Oh, I just got to the point where the skeleton crawls out of her vagina," and he's like, "Oh, this is like the most tame part of the book."
Yeah, this is the tamest part of the book, which is like, huh? What? Huh? What?
So, and by the way, we're like a quarter of the way through. This is a very short book. So, this is where they go to the school, right? The school turned into a brewery.
Yeah, a brewery that went out of business, and then they turned a school that got turned into a brewery.
So they're like, man, that was fucked up. I really need a drink to take the edge off. So they go down to this brewery. She gets really fucking drunk, and they like get a room there. They're gonna stay, and he takes her up to the room. She's like, I want another one. So he like walks down and fucking gets her another beer, and then they give us a bit of backstory about how like in high school and like college and shit, she used to like Stacy like made money and like was a point of like interest for people because like everyone knew about this girl with the haunted vagina, and like she would like let people listen, and she was like a spectacle of sorts. And then after a while, people thought she was a fraud, and that she had like a recording device or something, and was just like playing sounds to scare people. And let's see, so she stays in college. So she was 30. Go ahead.
No, sorry, No, you're good. Keep going.
So she gets super fucking drunk. And Steve goes down to get her some more drinks. He comes back up, and they have sex again.
No.
That's right. Okay, let me read.
She's playing with her Vagooba,
Oh, God,
like it's a
awful.
fucking stretch on Armstrong. She's just like pulling her labia really far and being like, haha, look how far I can stretch. I'm a stretchy bitch now.
Walks back into the room with the drinks, and it says, I turn the corner. Her pants are off, and she's probing her vagina with her arm, almost all the way up to her elbow. What are you doing? She laughs at me. Look, she says, pulling her vaginal lips open. They are stretchy like rubber. Then she laughs hysterically. I chuckle too in a nervous kind of way. I didn't know it could do that before. She lets the lips go, and they slap back into place. And I can, like, hear that, and I want to fucking die. Ugh. Disgusting. So, she invites him to come over and says, I want you to look inside. And he's like, no, you can't be kidding. There's no way you actually want me to do this. She leans back on the bed and stretches out her vagina lips again. The hole is big enough to fit a football through. A football. I bend down and look inside. Do you see anything? She asks. No, I say, just a fleshy cavity. So she spreads her lips out further. She goes, I help her, pushing the labia apart, peering in. The hole might be wide at the opening, but it shrinks down to the size of a pea, only inches within. I dig my hand inside, but my hands are dry and abrasive. Yeah, the vagina of holding. Basically, you have no fucking idea.
Oh
dude.
my god. So like he then is like, she's like, all right, go inside. So like so she starts to fucking flick the bean. She's like, all right, let me get it wet for you, boy. So she just starts masturbating, and like he spreads it because now it's like wetter, and he looks inside and there's like a ball of light inside. He's like, oh, what's that? And she's like, maybe it's the ghost. All right, go inside. So like he fucking dives in. Like
He fucking puts his hands together like he's about to dive into a fucking pool, and he reverse births himself into her.
Yeah, so like he starts to like go in, and he's like halfway up her, like stretching, and she's just all like and then he like pulls out. He's like, can't do this. He's like, no, you're gonna do this. So she shaves his head, she like cuts it, shaves him completely bald, lubes him up with a bunch
Makes
of
him a dolphin, baby.
yeah, and then lubes
Dolphin
him up with a bunch of oil. It's like, get back in there. So he starts going back in, and he's having a difficult time going in, and this is the part. Let me see if I can find this, because it was the funniest fucking thing I think I've ever read in a. Oh, where is it?
Can I take us back like 2 seconds?
Yes,
though,
I'm
to
gonna
interrupt?
find the part where that made me almost die.
So I don't like this word, but I think his use in it is really funny. But all right, here's a paragraph. Stacy lets go of her labia and retrieves the beer that I had hidden from her. This is the drink that he brought back upstairs for her before he realized she was way too fucking drunk and doesn't need no drink. She cracks it open against the edge of the table and takes a chug. I drink a pint from my pitcher. We sip our drinks in silence for a while. The more Stacy drinks, the more sober she seems to become. The more I drink, the more retarded I become. And the fact that he even used that word was fucking wild to me.
Yeah, I was like, hey man, you can't do that. That's fucked up.
I know. Like, these books are fucked.
Yeah, they're.
I mean, but it's called Eraserhead Press. That's the publishing house. I've never seen Eraserhead. It makes me want to watch it now. But yeah, this guy drops the fucking R word in here. And not to mention just the general fucking fucked up tone.
So he's inside of her, and he's just going in, trying to spelunky his way through this, and he stops moving, and he is now just like this huge, like, he's pretty much a baby, and like think about a pregnant lady, but just like that's him. He's inside, and she's slapping him, going like, go in, and he won't. So she stands up and fucking squats him and pushes his feet in more. So she's like a fucking turkey that gets up and shoves the can into the hole and just like fucking just blasts him in there. So then she lays back down with him all the way in there. Like, this is like a snake has just like consumed him, because it's like the hole is closed. He's just in there now.
It says, Then she pulls her lips apart as wide as she can, about 14 inches. Her hips pop out of joint like the jaws of a snake opening up for its prey. And she swallows this man. Fucking eats him alive.
Yeah, the next thing I know, her lips close up around my wriggling toes. That's the last page of this sentence.
So fucking.
It's so bad. And then he just talks about how it's like he's just in there now. So what she starts doing is she just starts fucking jerking it.
Doing what anyone would do.
You know, and he's like, I'm in her fleshy wall. I'm hard now. Meow. And I'm just like, this sucks. This sucks so much. And then she fucking comes and just fucking shoves him through this hole. And boy fucking falls into an alternate fucking dimension. He falls into a dimension. Oh my god, he falls into an alternate dimension.
He describes himself as a human penis.
He sure does. He sure does do that.
Okay, so he's like in, you know, it's like a claustrophobic thing. Like he can't really move, and he's just kind of like wiggling his way inside of her. And obviously, this is like the whole. None of the proportions make sense, right? And he's just kind of writhing in to her and kind of wiggling his way through until he reaches the light. And he dumps himself, like Jordan said, out into another dimension. He sees a sky. He basically reaches the light at the end of the tunnel, and he puts his hands around the edges, and then opens it up, and he just sees a sky.
He said, I stick my head out, and the sides slip out of my hands, wrap around my neck in a comforting choke.
Which I don't... What a pointless sentence.
Comforting choke.
Just had to put that in there.
And then he gets fucking... She comes and blasts him through the hole.
Yeah, so he's projectiled, like,
oh my God.
out of this... What he learned... Okay, so he out of this cavern, right? And he lands on the grass. And he looks back up, and he sees that he was basically ejected from, like, a mountain with, like, a cavern in it. And it's, like, way too high up, and he, you know, like, he could try and climb back up the mountain to, like, get back into the cavern and leave, but for, like, functionally speaking, he's stuck here.
You know what I just realized? I think I understand the gorilla song, Fire Coming Out of the Monkey's Head now.
I don't know anything about gorillas.
Oh, okay.
So...
That was a joke for nobody.
You did good.
Thank you. But then he realizes that the cliff he's looking at is covered in claw marks for, like, he assumes the skeleton's trying to climb his way up the mountain. So then he tries to start climbing his way up the mountain, but it's so jagged that he's just, like, cutting himself up. Like, he's fucking up his feet. He fucks up his big toe. He's, like, cutting his already cut hand more, and he's just, like, bleeding. Fucking
He's ruining his body trying to scale this fucking cliffside. And it's just not working. And he finally gives up. And he looks around and, like, kind of takes in the surrounding area. And he sees, like, there's some woods in the distance. And he also finds, like, a cabin. And so, oh, God. He fucking, he walks over. Oh, and we never mentioned this, by the way. Stacy, when she was a child, had an imaginary friend.
that came out of her vagina.
Yeah. So this is like something she's had for her entire life. You know, back in high school, you know, she was showing it off and whatnot. But she's always had this. And she used to have an imaginary friend who would come out of her vagina. And then after a certain period of time, she, like, lost touch with it and, like, stopped hearing from this imaginary friend. And so Steve notices as he's walking back into these woods, there doesn't appear to be anyone here. It's quiet, vacant. And suddenly, like, out of the corner of his eye, he sees, like, movement. Doesn't he like find clothes first or some shit?
So
he, like,
what
goes into the cabin?
Yeah, he finds an old log cabin inside of this bad boy, and he goes inside, and it's just this musty, disgusting cavern where he finds this he finds a leather, like, blacksmithing apron to put on. Overalls, that's what it is. He finds leather overalls that he's like, it chafes my dick, but it's better than being naked. And then he finds boots that are covered in mud and are also filled with mud. So he gets equipped with just the shittiest basic armor and stuff, and he gets an axe and a shitty ladder that's falling apart. So he then sees this like weird creature with like pink fleshy skin, like pale pink fleshy skin with like he just kind of glances at it, freaks out a little bit, hides, and then he like gets his stuff and he runs towards the cliff with a now shitty ladder, axe, and bad equipment.
He's got to get the fuck out of here.
He's
He
gotta
just
get
saw
outta
something
here.
living. We don't want to have anything to do with this place. So he runs back to the cliff.
I gotta
and
get out of here.
He starts trying to make his escape with all the equipment that he just picked up. And this ladder is like falling apart. It's like a rusted piece of shit. And as he's trying to climb it, it's like breaking underneath his feet. And eventually, he gets up as high as he can reach, and he like drags the fucking axe into the side of the cliff. And then he's like pulling himself up with it. And as he like stabs the cliffside, like blood comes out.
Yep.
So this is somehow this landscape is directly related to her body. So we can assume that Stacy is feeling part of this. Let's see. My hand reaches the hole and I force myself inside. Moisture or no moisture, I shove myself within, leaving the axe in the side of the cliff. So this boy wearing his disgusting overalls and just mud-caked and mud-filled boots reinserts himself into the hole he was ejected from and starts crawling back out of her vagina, like, and just fucking taking his way through. It says it's tough moving through the fleshy tunnel in the overalls towards Stacy's vagina.
Yuck.
I don't see the light ahead, so I move blindly through the meat. It gets moist, but I'm still not able to slide through. About 20 feet in, I start to hear Stacy's screams ahead of me, but her voice vibrates all around my body. I keep pushing. The tunnel bends down. I can feel gravity pulling me forward, and when I get to the opening, Stacy's nearly shrieking. I stick my finger out first and hit a denim wall. She's wearing pants. So an undetermined amount of time has passed since he's like been in here. And now, instead of in this little hotel, she's driving in a car. And I don't know what time of day it is, but she's like wearing jeans. And in the car, this fucking finger comes out of her vagina and just pokes the inside of her pants. And she's like, no, you can't do this right now. I'm driving. And so he fucking... This says the air in her crotch is thick with her vaginal musk.
But not inside of her, just outside.
That sentence sucks. I hate that sentence.
Yeah.
It's fucking awful. And not to mention, this guy's dragging mud and blood and like all this shit through her body. So it's like, this girl's gonna have a fucking problem. But she parks, gets out of the car, and it says that she walks bow-legged up the sidewalk, holding one hand around her humongous pregnant belly, pushing my head back into her crotch with the other. So she's like basically giving birth, and she's been fighting it as he's trying to crawl.
To her own boyfriend.
So fucking gross. I see the hair draped down over the opening like she's trying to peek inside of me. So she gets back into the room, and she like takes off her pants, and she's like looking at him. And it says, I watch the floor as she walks to the couch. Because, like, his eyes are, like, looking out down at the ground as she's waddling over.
POV,
like,
you're inside my vagina.
God, dude. It's fucking awful. And it says, once I'm halfway out, I push off on the edge of the couch and land face first on the hardwood floor. She pulls away from me until my legs and feet slip out. I look back at her, and she's holding her crotch, writhing in pain. And then she greets him with like kisses and hugs, and she's like, oh my God, I thought you were gone. She goes, I waited forever. And she looks at his clothes and everything, and she's like, where the fuck did all this come from? He's like, it was inside of you. She's like, God, that fucking hurt. And then he kind of explains to her what was going on. And then, oh, I know, the birthing and unbirthing kinks, it's like fucking insane. But he explains to her roughly what he found in there. And she goes, there's a whole world inside of me. And she's proud.
And he's like, no, it's a fucking alternate dimension. And she's like, no, I could see you inside of me. You were tiny, and I was watching you run under my fucking skin. But the deeper you went, you disappeared, almost turning microscopic.
So it like because it explains like the whole fucking like bigger on the inside paradox. Like the more so as he
Her
inserts
vagina's
himself
Doctor
into
Who.
her body, he just I know right goes full Doctor Who and starts shrinking, like as he passes through her like I hate all of this her like fucking vaginal canal, and he's just slowly shrinking. And she can feel him like all the way up through her stomach until he just like completely disappears. And we learn later where he's actually at, because he is in a specific place inside of her body. But so that's gross. He goes, after getting out of the grubby overalls and showering off Stacy's dried juices from my entire body, we sit at the dining room table, drinking coffee, and I tell her everything that happened to me. Her eyes go wild.
He's like, this is fine. This is normal. This is awesome. Pog.
Fucking disgusting. So now I don't remember. Do we ever get an explanation as to who that fucking skeleton was?
No.
Do we just assume that it was like a prior boyfriend who finally made it up the cliff?
No. Okay. So we'll talk about that when we get to the part where it explains where those fucking skeletons come from.
All right, so let's move on. I think this chapter's kind of long.
Yeah, they just talk about they talk about the world, and then they're like, all right, do you want to sleep? We got work. Should we call out? And she's like, no, let's both go to work. So they both go to work. Donut comes back in the next chapter, keeps calling him Adolf Hitler because now his head is shaved, so he's just like Hitler, and he's like, but I'm Jewish. He's like Hitler, and then so he gives the man a donut, and the dude's like, I'm satisfied, Hitler, and leaves. And then he like goes to work and has like a weird coworker named Chaz, who's like just like his insanely hyper portly guy who always invites me to karaoke parties is Chaz. Another pointless character who's just like, hey, you want to go skateboarding? And he's just like, I guess. And then he's just like, he's trying to work on his computer and his fingers are all swollen and his body's all beat up from falling down a cliff and like cutting his hand open. He's just like, work sucks, I'm in pain.
Oh, and yeah, so he kind of lingers on his fingertips. So he notices. So besides the just kind of variety of wounds he sustained while trying to climb up the cliff, like nearly breaking his toe, twisting his ankle, his head's all bruised from the fall. He notices his fingertips are like red and they're really sensitive. Like it hurts to type. And that's just like something the author really points out to you. And we find out later what the fuck's going on. And I would also like to say, how fucking weird is it that he has coworkers invite him to go skateboarding, even though I have friends who are in their 30s who still skateboard. I just don't like. It's just a weird it's just like the dialogue was written by Tommy Wiseau. That's what this book feels.
This guy is the book. This guy is the Tommy Wiseau book writing.
I would watch the shit out of this.
Oh my god! No, you would like what? A human being
Would
goes
you
inside.
Not watch this?
A human being went inside another human being, Brad.
Dude, fuck it. This shit's wild.
You want to watch somebody get fucking chicken canned?
Anyway, Steve compares this day of work to the hardest day of work since the time I drank a fifth of Jack Daniels the night before and came in with only 3 hours of sleep.
Pussy.
What a wonderful sentence.
What a loser.
That's great. So he gets home, and Stacy is not. It was after work. He goes, there are grocery bags on the kitchen counter. A note saying she'll be back later. So I take another shower. Try and wash the dirt out of my fingernails without much luck. My reddened fingertips are extra sensitive under the hot water. Yeah, they're bruised up pretty bad. They'll probably hurt even worse tomorrow, and that shitty call center job requires fast typing while the customers are on the line. Screw them.
I also love how during this part, the next part, he just calmly dunks on Comedy Central because he's like, I eat a Hot Pocket. And wait for Stacey to come home, but get tired of sitting on the couch watching awful stand-up comedians on Comedy Central who talk more about their lame political views than tell jokes. He's like, fucking roasted.
I love this guy's like diversions into completely unrelated bullshit.
Was inside my girlfriend. Comedy Central sucks. Waka waka.
Yeah, by the way. So he goes back into the bedroom, and I guess they never cleaned up the skeleton residue. So it's like,
Yeah, don't clean up the skeleton goo.
and it's still sticky, like under his feet. So he takes a nap. He wakes up, and I guess Stacy's back, right? And she says she has a bunch of shopping bags that fill the living room floor. So she comes back with supplies, and she tells him, "You're going back in." Like she's determined. She's about to send this man back up inside of her, but he's gonna document the things that he finds this time. Let's see it. She also brings him a gun.
Hey, can I tell you also another thing when I was reading it? I read that as gum and was very confused. I was like, why gum? And I didn't realize until the next chapter it was gun.
Yeah.
I was just like speed reading it, so I was like, I don't have time to go back. I don't have time to go back and do this.
She gives my boy a gun, and she says for the
Fight the skeletons.
in case they give you trouble. And he's like, I'm not fucking going back in there. Are you insane?
You have to shoot the rowdy boys.
And she's like, no, this is like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, and you've got to be my explorer.
Go
You're
back
gonna
inside.
chart this
Go back
world
inside.
for me. And so she wants to write a book about it, and she needs him to go down there and document everything, take pictures, take notes, and figure out everything. So she finally convinces him to go back in. And she's dumping like bags of like baby oil and petroleum jelly. And she gets him a sleeping bag and shit. He says, I'm not camping out in your vagina overnight. And she goes, no, Steve, not in my vagina, in my womb.
And that's how the chapter ends. It's just like waka waka. And I'm like, huh? And then he's all like, she persuaded me because she know I'd do anything. So I'm back in that vagina crawling through the flesh tunnel with a bag tied to my ankle. And they're talking through the walkie-talkie as like he's crawling through her. And he could hear her through the walkie-talkie and through the stomach because he's still inside of her.
And I'm imagining like Die Hard, like crawling through like the ductwork. That's what I thought of.
Yes, yes. And then he gets through and he's like, hey, don't masturbate because you almost fucking launched me into the you almost spiked me into the ground.
Your rope was too powerful. Me out of your vagina again.
So then he hammers a spike into the side cliff. It bleeds, of course. Does a rope, gets down, gets cleaned up because he brought towels this time. He's like, I'm not gonna not bring a towel. Puts his clothes on, gets ready, puts the gun in his jacket, he's like, time to party. It's go time. I'm gonna document this. So he just starts fucking Pokemon snapping everything, being like, ooh, a tree. Ooh, what's that? And he's like talking to Stacy the whole time.
And all the while, as he's going deeper and deeper into this world, he realizes that he's like losing his connection with her. Like, you know, the walkie-talkie, he can't, it's more static interference starts coming in. And eventually he loses all contact with her. And he's completely stranded. He passes through the woods and he comes to a trail. And it kind of opens up to a clearing. And there's this, like, from what I understood, there's a big bridge across this, like, crater. And down in the crater, there's just a bunch of, like, doot spooky skeletons. And they're just, like, clamoring to get up this.
Hey, I'm gonna get
Bite ya. And on the other side, if you cross the bridge, there's a town.
Made of wrought iron.
Yeah, okay. This was fucking weird. Everything in this town, including all of the items inside the homes, even the people, they're described as wrought iron. So everything is this like twisted black metal. And it's like completely otherworldly looking, and he's just like walking through this shitty town.
Oh, we learn about what that is later on, about why it's so fucked up.
Which is also fucking wild.
Yeah.
But he sees a figure again, and it was that girl that he saw in the cabin. God damn it, my phone. It's probably work.
Just throw it. Just throw
to
it.
the side. I know I can't. We talked about this earlier. So he sees this girl, and we learn that it's the girl on the cover of the book.
Yeah,
So
she
we have this splotchy fucking horned girl.
yeah,
walking.
she's smacking trees with a skeletal arm, and she's stumbling through the forest in some kind of daze. Her paper white butt jiggling as she walks. Hey, poggers!
Still looking at her butt.
Jelly ass pog. And it's just like, I wish to die.
Let's see. That's fucking good. So he's taking pictures of everything, and he's about to leave. And then he hears cries again, and he finds out that it's coming from a house. So he like follows the sounds of this crying back into the town as he was on his way out, and he like locates it into this house, goes inside, and he like goes up a flight of stairs, and it's like this gentle sobbing now, and it says there is a black statue of a child curled up in the corner as if crying into its knees.
Oh, my favorite thing about this part is that he's literally right before this. Fuck this. This place sucks. I'm gonna leave, and Stacy's gonna have to bring a team back. And then he hears a girl crying. He's like, well, better go back in, baby.
Completely changes his mind and throws out, like, he goes full like horror movie and just becomes stupid and makes the worst decisions possible. So he goes, I enter the room, and in another corner facing the statue is the girl I saw in the woods, also curled up on the floor crying into her knees. She's holding the skeletal arm she carries like a walking stick. And he deduces that this girl must be the imaginary friend that Stacy had when she was a child, except that now the imaginary friend is all grown up. And she looks up at him, at Steve, and she goes, you're alive? And he describes her voice as scratchy and squeaky, which I hate. And they talk, and then she like dives at him, and he tries to shoot her, but she's like way too fast. And then as they kind of like tumble to the floor, he finds out she's just hugging him, and she's like overjoyed. She's like, "Oh my god, you're alive!
Alive?
I love how you
Alive!
feel." And she's like super excited, and it says her skin is like latex, much more smooth than normal flesh, much squishier as well. She looks at me, flicks her eyelashes. Her eyes are cherry red, and
I
she's like,
love your feel. I love your feel, she says, caressing my cheek with her plastic hand.
And so they talk for a while. He tells her his name, and he finds out that her name is Fig.
Fig.
And-
Wait, you forgot the best part, idiot. You
Oh,
forgot
God,
my
what
favorite
happened?
line. No. She's exactly like a CGI character. She's like Jar Jar Binks.
Oh no, he did. He fucking directly compared her to Jar Jar Binks.
Like, she looks like that kind of CGI from back in the day. So she
big
looks
eyes, tiny mouth, like weird proportions.
like, Misa, think you're alive. Misa, want a hug.
No. So what is it? They kind of make their greetings. They fucking leave the house together, and she's like, well, I've been looking for someone to play with, which all like terrifying characters and like fucking horror shit. They always talk about that. I hate it when they use kids in horror movies. It's awful.
But this girl's not a kid. She's like an adult.
But like they're all so awkwardly juvenile, and like I hate it. I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable.
Well, it's because English is not her second language, so not her first language, so she speaks in like broken English like a child because she doesn't know how to speak proper English.
That's right.
Fuck you, Brad. I know the lores of the haunted vagina. Okay.
You're clearly more well acquainted with this world than I am.
God, Brad, it's not like you. It's like you didn't even read the fucking book, bro.
So, what's really weird is like so she invites him basically back to like her house or this mansion, and along the way she'll just like look at like
I felt.
Go ahead.
I fell down there, she says, pointing at a patch of dirt. That's mean, she says, pointing at a stick in the road. Those are funny, she says, pointing at a mushroom patch.
Like, what the fuck?
um, so she's described as being in her early 20s. Everybody's naked.
But she
Like-
doesn't have nipples or pubic hair.
Oh yeah, no, she's just red and splotchy and white with horns. So he asks her if she remembers somebody named Stacy, and she says, "Stacy says I don't exist."
Stacy says I don't exist.
And so clearly there's some animosity here. So as they're walking back through town, Steve points out all the black wrought iron shit that's kind of like overtaken everything. He says, "What is that?" She goes, "That's the cancer." And I guess this is supposed to be like a twist. It was fucking weird to me.
Yeah, so like I guess it's cancer, which is just like, huh? What the fuck? Yeah, this is black iron. So all those people in there were more people like her that got taken over by the cancer, I guess?
I don't fucking know.
And then
she gets invited to dinner. They go to dinner.
But they find more skeletons protecting the thing, but she's like, "Oh no, those are friendly zephyrins, which are the skeletons, I guess." Skeletons
Zephrins.
Zephrins.
They have a name.
Yeah,
And they kind of ignore them. And they're just kind of like dancing around in the woods like they're fucking
they're
puppets.
fucking hippies dancing in the woods.
Fig lives in this like wacky ass mansion on top of a hill, and she says everyone lives here. And then the chapter ends, and we're prepared to meet the rest of the people that live in this fucking mansion inside of Stacy's vagina. So we kind of we sit down at this table. Everyone kind of looks cartoony and Jar Jar Binksy. Some have large gorilla bodies with tiny little legs, and some are thin with long noodle arms. And they're gathered
The
around
gorilla body with tiny legs is so fucking funny to me, though.
monkey mode.
A monkey. Boop, 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 doop, boop, doop, boop.
I don't have access to the emote, but fucking someone does. Let's get a monkey in the chat. Right
Monkey.
there it is. That's my beautiful boy. This whole time, Steve is taking pictures of everybody, and I guess they just don't fucking react to it. But he notices that there seem to be two of like each different species.
Two monkeys, two thin boys, you know.
Yeah, they're all paired off. And Steve starts to like talk to them, and Fig reminds him that like none of them speak English, so they don't know what the fuck he's talking about. And he mentions that the language kind of sounds like Chinese. So
But then
Go ahead.
spoiler alert, they find out it's Thai.
it's actually Thai. It's a real language. She introduces Steve as the new playmate. And they just kind of make weird ass sounds in response.
They speak Thai. They don't make weird sounds. They
What
just
is this?
I know, but
It's
it's
so
my favorite thing ever that they're just speaking Thai.
No. So as they're sitting down for dinner, and for dinner, they're not served any food.
They eat
They're
arts and
served
crafts.
supplies. So people get like balls of yarn, puzzles,
Gotta eat the wood. Minecraft
doll
noises.
paint, modeling clay, and they just kind of make crafts.
They do it
And
for
he's
like
like-
3 hours, he says.
Yeah, fucking hours. He's like, I thought we were gonna have food.
Also, I just realized he made a fucking Toy Story reference because he
What?
tries to make a cowboy boot, but he can't, so he makes it into a snake.
God damn it. God damn it.
There's a snake in my
Snake.
boot.
See, he did it again, boys. He made the greatest reference of all time.
Yeah, you know, I love Toy Stories in my weird, bizarre, erotic novels.
So let's see. So they have this completely pointless dinner, where they just make crafts, and then Steve kind of finds a downtime to where he can like step aside and try and contact Stacy.
And he's like, I'm gonna fucking leave.
So he goes up there and like, he's trying to get in contact with her, and Fig runs up to the roof, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Look, I really can't be here. Like, I gotta go." And she goes, "No, you can't leave. We haven't even played yet."
Mom said you'd play with me forever.
And so she gives him that whole weird spiel, and then she he fucking like runs down back out into the streets, and she summons skeletons to carry him into the woods. And they run up, they pick him up, and they're holding it like he's crowd surfing on these skeletons, and they drag him out to the woods, and they throw him in like a mine shaft.
Oh, don't worry. They strip him naked and then throw him into a mine shaft.
And he's just stranded in the bottom of this fucking hole that he can't get out of. And he's down there for like an undetermined amount of time, like a while.
Yeah, and he's like begging with Fig. He's like, I love Stacy. I have to go back. And Fig's like, no, you stay with me. You play with me forever. Play with me forever. Play with me forever. And he's just like, ah. And then she's like, bye, bitch.
She fucking walks away and leaves him there. And so he stays there for just like days or weeks. I mean, you know, it's to the point where like he's like talking to himself now. And he notices as he's laying down there in this little mine shaft, he can like feel like vibrations and stuff, and the ground is like really fleshy. And he kind of comes to the conclusion that like he's interacting with Stacy's body down there. Like he's at like the bedrock level, and he's like against her like skin or like her organs or some weird shit. And so the longer he stays down there, he starts to physically change. Like the weird red like sensitive fingertips he has going on, it spreads to the rest of his body, and he gets like painful and rubbery, and it said slimy balls are growing out of the side of my head, like he's starting to grow horns.
Yeah, he's becoming Fig.
And so let me find. Okay, after my voice starts to get scratchy, I just speak to her in my head. That is Stacy. He's talking to himself, trying to talk to Stacy. I wake to a cracking sound coming from the back of my head, then a tearing sound down my spine, as if my flesh is being unzipped from my neck to my pelvis. I'm unable to move as my body opens up. My bones and muscles separate. A skeleton crawls out of me. This is the fucking source of the skeletons. The people who stay too long in this world eventually are separated from their actual fucking skeletal structure, and an autonomous skeleton crawls out of them, and it's like paired to them.
My bones become animated and detached from my body.
And so he kind of comes. He has to like get used to like his weird new rubbery boneless body, and says the skeleton claws at my wormy toes like a kitten. No, I tell the skeleton. It clacks its teeth.
It's literally trying to eat this man's fucking toes. And he says, bad skeleton. I say, the skeleton wags its pelvic bones like a tail. His skeleton becomes a dog.
Because that's a normal thing. So that's the end of the fucking chapter. So I just noticed how dumb this is. It says, after a couple of days of playing catch with the skeleton, training it not to bite my feet, trying not to move so much that the enormous wound on my back will fully heal, Fig finally returns. So I guess there's enough room down there for him to play fetch or catch with his new dog skeleton. During this time, he's completely turned into whatever kind of creature Fig is. So he looks entirely like her. He's got red splotchy skin, he's got horns. I assume his nipples are no longer existent. He has like no pubic hair. And she's very pleased to find him in this state. She's like, oh, you're like me now. You do belong here. And she frees him, tosses the rope down. He climbs out. And she's like, you have to play with me. You're not going to run away.
You're me now. You're squishy and rubbery.
So he climbs up easily because his body is like half the fucking weight.
He's just like, doo.
And she said, don't think you can just run away. Good Zephrins are guarding the bridge. Bad Zephrins are under the bridge. So I guess the skeletons are like they're like the keepers of this fucking shitty.
Like, don't worry, we'll beat your ass if you try to leave.
So he's kind of contemplating his new existence as like a rubber man. Oh no! And this is one of the worst parts of the book.
You mean, what do you
This
mean? Brad, do you want me to talk about this part?
Please do. This is fucking awful.
So they go to play, so they go back. I want to make sure they go back to the house.
They do.
Yeah, so they go back to the house and they go back to this area and they're like looking out to the sky and they're like, ooh, it's happening. And what they find
There's
out,
like an earthquake.
yeah,
Like everyone's reacting to something and Steve has no idea what's going on. And everyone keeps saying like, this is it. This is the one. It's happening. And he's like, what the fuck is going on?
and then a geyser erupts out of the side of the cliff. A burst of white fluid, then another burst of white fluid, then another. Stacy's having sex. So Stacy's fucking a guy. After Steve has been trapped inside her vagina and thrown inside a mine shaft and had his bones separated and has become a weird rubber man, Stacy's like, I'm so grieful, I have to have sex. So she does, and then she gets pregnant. So when she gets pregnant, the hole to the outside world gets sealed up because it now belongs to the child.
Steve, this is like Inception. So Steve is no longer inside of Stacy's womb. He's now a part of the new baby that was just produced.
Yeah, so now Stacy's pregnant and Fig's like, haha, you can't leave now, idiot! She's like, ha, Fig squints her face pointing at me, you can't leave now. I wipe my eyes as he's fucking crying because he can't leave. And he's like, I told you, said you're gonna play with me forever, Mom said so, she's never wrong. So he's just like having this inner monologue about being being sad is like, oh, maybe she got betrayed, all these weird things, and like her weird fetishes about Stacy. It's like pointless. None of this matters. He's just mad. So like he's all like, yeah, she would rub her she would love her vagina against my Adam apple and make me hum because she had a throat fetish. So he's like blasting her, being like, yeah, this fucking slut, she's betrayed me.
He just trashes her for a while. And because he's in a lot of pain, right? He just had to get probably nearly showered with a mountain of cum as he watches this dude just bust a fat one inside of his girlfriend. And so for like pages and pages, he's just going on and on about like completely irrelevant personal things about like STDs, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. And then he's going through all these emotions, and he's like, I always hated Stacy. You know, she gets so swept up in the moment. Whenever she's having like a good time with a friend, she'll always forget about the plans she had with me. If guys flirt with her, she always flirts back, even when I'm standing right next to her. And it feels like the author is just like projecting a little bit, and he totally feels like
a lot of things in this feels like the author is projecting, especially with the whole fucking donut thing.
I know that Donut's the best character in this fucking book, hands down.
Fuck Donut. All I
says, I want to leave her for sleeping with another guy. I want to kick her out of my house and tell her I never want to see her again, but I can't. I'll never be able to leave her for as long as I live. And so he's kind of strolling around. He leaves this mansion that he's been in, where all these fucking weird people live, and Fig's following him. Go ahead.
He's like, maybe I don't want to go to the bottom of hell. There's skeletons down there, and then neighborhood of black deformities. Not to mention there's an enormous lake of some guy's rancid cum.
I forgot about that.
Rancid cum.
It sat there for weeks. It's fucking now. So Fig starts coming on to him, because this is the logical next step.
My favorite thing is not coming on to him. She refers to it as playing. This is how they play.
Oh no! Yeah, there's this whole fucking.
We should play now. Fig says behind me. I shrug. Fig attempts to kiss me. I turn my head away, and she begins sucking on my neck with latex lip. And I push her away. What are you doing? She pulls me by the hand towards one of the kitty's beds. We're playing, she says. Her wormy fingers curl around my penis. Playing. This is what she meant by playing. She slips her tongue into my tiny mouth, and she's just fondling my squishy member into erection.
It's so awful to
Imagine
read.
squeezing a stress ball and then it got rock hard in your hand.
Basically. But like, okay, so Steve doesn't want this. He's like, no, I don't want to play with you. I'm in love with Stacy. And like, he gets angry and he's like, I want to hurt somebody. I want somebody to feel my pain physically. I want to make somebody pay for everything that's happened to me. And then, as my rage builds, Fig watches me masturbating at me. A vein in my forehead twitches.
Just angrily like
As she wipes her greasy fingers across my lips and nostrils, just like Stacy used to. Stacy always liked to see my reaction to the taste of her, to the smell of her, even though she knew it pissed me off. But Fig tastes different than Stacy. She is the flavor of roses. Flower sweat. Her scent fills my lungs and gives my breath a fluffy texture. And this guy, his like brain breaks. And so he just starts trying to physically crush her. And then he, because I tried to choke her the way Stacey used to choke me. I stop when I see her face. She's looking at me, confused. Not hurt or scared, just not sure what I'm trying to do. I take my hands down away from her throat and look away from her, shamefaced.
That's not how you do it. She says, quickly says behind me. Beneath me, sorry.
I feel her grabbing at my erection and pointing it into her crotch. She rubs it against her
Slippery wet. Slippery.
Her slippery opening. Her breath cold on my neck. And then she grabs my butt with both hands.
It's like hot jelly or maybe rubber cement.
She writhes underneath me with a crooked smile, gripping my hips and pulsing against me. We kiss each other with our with our tiny mouths pressing against each other's smooth plastic.
My rubbery penis bumps into her latex vagina, creating a loud squeaking sound that echoes through the musty room. She doesn't have any nipples, but I still lick her breasts as if they were there. It doesn't seem to do anything for her, though.
This podcast fucking sucks.
Our sex feels far from human, more like snail sex, or jellyfish sex, or Japanese anime sex.
Our boneless bodies twisting into inhuman positions. It's incredibly strange, but it might just be the best sex I've ever had.
You know, Japanese anime sex, they say it's pretty poggers.
So this is another fucking wild sentence. He goes, the orgasm ripples through my entire body like ocean waves under my skin. My testicles crack open.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that!
Dude, I know. My testicles crack open and release 2 raw eggs that goo up and out of my shaft into Fig. She closes her eyes and leans back as the yolk seeks deep inside of her.
Bro. Oh, I just changed the picture. I changed the picture to the old one. Oh no. Oh, there we go.
Don't ever remind me about Cheryl Brooks again.
I will always remind you about Cheryl Brooks.
So he like busts a couple eggs inside of her.
Imagine every time you busted a nut, it was like somebody cracking eggs for breakfast.
That's so fucking gross. And so they both fall asleep and they wake up and god damn it, he leaves the house. He starts walking around town and he's looking at the sky. And Stacy, or sorry, not Stacy, Fig is kind of like, they were my friends.
They were my friends.
What the fuck is she talking about? And he realizes she was talking about the clouds, which they suddenly can't see anymore because a weird pink film has like encased them like a bubble because they're now a part of like
they're turning into a baby
and they're losing their connection with Stacy and they're now a part of the child, which I guess is a woman.
I think in the lore that every time whoever has this world inside of them, the next of kin is always a girl.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe there's a sequel to this where a guy is just boring people with his asshole. I don't fucking know.
God, I hope not. I'll I'll read the hell out of it. But so Fig,
My friends, the clouds, the god, I am sad.
they get married. There's this weird like pheromone thing that happens where like he hasn't forgotten about Stacy, but like just the sight of Fig awakens this like animal fucking primal ass fuck mode.
So how it's explained is, so what let's go. We're gonna, all right, I gotta reposition this because we're gonna go a deep dive into this lore, because what I'm assuming is that every time this is passed on, right, there is so Fig was Stacy's vaginal world doppelganger, right? So as is everybody else. So the vaginal world doppelganger, when another person, a human being, enters, they give him a pheromone that then changes their DNA to match them. So that's why he has the red blotchy skin and the horns, and that's why there's another lanky person with another lanky person, gorilla person with gorilla person, is because I guess those were like the vaginal doppelgangers of the previous owners of the vaginal world. And so that means that every single skeleton in this world was once a human being.
Yeah.
So the lanky
This
person,
is a cavern of bodies.
yeah, so all the skeletons were people that got sucked in through the Vaguba. But the worst thing about it is that, so we know this, we have this information now, right? So let's go all the way back to page 13, when the skeleton was coming out and growing a body again. So does that mean that the reason that they're bad Zephyrs is because they want to leave? And if they leave, they get to return to being a person?
I didn't really, because they never go back and talk about it.
But
So
like
I guess
you're supposed to
right.
think about it, Brad. It's a piece that you think about. You know,
I know, I'm not
you get to
engaging
write the
in
sequel.
elaborate lore of this world. I need to speak with Carlton Melick III myself.
Oh my god!
And dissect it. I'm sure he would be thrilled though
Probably.
to know that people are talking about this in a podcast.
But so they go into this weird lore about like the pheromones changing people, steal your skeletons, oogie boogie stuff, and then one day the walkie-talkie goes off. Or no, he finds the walkie-talkie and he's like, "Let me try to call Stacy," and he's just like, "Stacy," and Stacy's like, "Steve," and she's like,
So there.
and he's just like, she's like, "Yeah, I'm still here." And she's like, "Steve, is that really you? You sound such a..." And she's like, starts crying. She's like, "I miss you so much." He's like, "I miss you too." And he's like, "I think about that night every night. I've kept the batteries and walkie-talkie just in case you want to reach out. Me never gave up." And like, she's like going over all like, "I'm sad." And then Steve's like, "How's the father of the child?" And she's just like, "I don't know. He was just some guy I met at the bar. I was so upset I didn't know what I was doing." And she's just like, "Oh, how's your lover?" And he's like, "Fig? Oh, she's doing fine. We're pregnant. She's about to be due any day now. Same as you, I believe." And then they like go into like this thing where they're like going back and forth and talking about it. And she's like, "Oh, I thought you died, you know, like after you after they like the cum happened, her vagina became completely normal and she couldn't hear the voices anymore because it's sealed up."
Yeah, that's right.
The-
So right after she becomes pregnant, all of the voices inside of her vagina die. It's no longer weirdly elastic. She has a totally normal vagina, and all of these awful attributes are now passed on to the child because they're no longer inside the child. So he's like a dream within a dream. He's several layers deep, stuck in this like alternate reality now, and he can like never go back.
Dude, he's
He
married.
literally
He's
would have
married
to
and
wait.
having kids.
He would literally have to wait until this child is old and, you know what I mean? Like decades. Like this dude is fucked. He's never leaving.
Yeah, and he's decided not to because he's like, "I'm not human anymore. I don't think I can return to the world." Then she's like, "Then I'll come to you." And she's like, "Stacey, I love you. You more than home, but I got a responsibility here. I've got people that need me. I've already moved on." So like, they're talking about this, and it's like, she's like, "Are you happy?" She's like, "Yes, I tell you, I'm very happy. I just want you to be happy." She tells me, "I am," I said. She cries in a walkie-talkie. "Stacy," I said, "Yeah, I'll always be with you." She continues crying, and then walkie cuts out. I think she turned it off, or maybe threw it across the room. That's another thing I always hated about Stacy. She always cut me off in the middle of a conversation for the sake of being dramatic. And that's where the book ends.
That's it. That's the whole fucking thing.
That's it, boys. That's it.
What the fuck is that? What did we just read?
The
What
haunted
was the
vagina.
point of this story?
Hey man.
Like, I would still give it like a 3 out of 5.
Oh, I'd give it a 3 out of 5.
Like, it was entertaining as shit.
I had a better time reading this than I did Slave.
Yeah. No,
For
I
sure.
laughed a lot more because, I mean, this was like obviously meant to be funny, and Slave was just like kind of cringy. It was really entertaining. But like, this book is just, it's one of the weirdest things I've ever read.
It's fucking weird.
Easily. And I can't discern a possible motive for writing this story.
It's just like fucked up, bro. He's just all like, "I'm gonna write a weird fucking story." Like,
Can you show everyone a picture of the author? If you Google Carlton Mellick III and go to his website.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get his website right now. So here's the part of the comic where we go and we do a deep dive on the author. So this is Carl Mellick III, and like, it's,
Look at our boy. He's a good boy.
and he's
Oh,
just like,
by the way, if you recognize that little action figure down there, that's right.
yeah,
This motherfucker has an action figure.
yep, he has his own action figure. And look at these,
And he's-
the Bad Box, Snuggle Club, Mousetrap, The Boy with the Chainsaw Heart, Never Day, Stacking Dolls,
Reward.
Parasite
Like,
Milk, Big Meat, Spider Bunny, Exercise Bike, the terrible things that happen. But yeah, sorry, I just wanted to read those. They were, oh boy.
Every time we... Hold on, scroll down. What the fuck was that?
Which one?
Keep scrolling down to the books a little more. Keep going.
Clown Fellas?
Keep going. Hold there.
Clown Fellas.
Every time we meet... Scroll up one more book.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, scroll up again. Sorry. There we go. Every time we meet at your Dairy Queen, your whole fucking face explodes.
A tale of childhood love and spontaneous face explosion. Cute and disturbing.
But this guy's like won awards. What is it? He's won. Oh god damn it! I had it.
Hungry Bug. Hungry Bug.
You fucking hold on. I'm gonna figure this out. Where are you, Carlton Mellick? Come here.
Hammer Wives. Hammer Wives. Hammer Wives.
I have to read more of these.
Kill Ball. Tumor Fruit.
I'm like way too interested in this shit now.
I knocked up Satan's daughter.
I can't pull it up.
The morbidly obese ninja. A 700-pound killing machine must go against his corporation employee in a order to save a terminal child. Pulpy and fun. Crab Town. Crab Town.
The same thing with like Cheryl Brooks. Like, this guy makes a living doing this. Any one of us, like in chat, could do this. This is attainable for literally anybody. I think the Eraserhead Press, I think they pump out like, I don't know how many books a month, but they pump out like books constantly. The press releases new books every month and has published over 400 titles by 150 different authors. And they're up in Portland, Oregon. And they're just fucking churning
Holy
out.
shit. The Bad Box is about kids who fail tests and have to take curses out of a box and get mutated into horrifying monsters.
I think we should read that.
No, please.
Please, let's read the Bad Box. After Redwall, we're gonna read the Bad Box.
Now, Brad, here's the real thing. Are you going to be able to finish Redwall by next week?
Yeah, I'll make the time.
Yeah, fucking do it, okay?
We're reading an actual book.
Yeah, so as a respite, we're gonna read a book from my childhood that's pure and good and like won't make me cry. And I've taken the reins from Brad and I've decided I get to pick the first respite book. Because fuck Brad.
I know. I would have chosen something else.
But
I don't believe in taking breaks. I want to just fucking
no,
slam on the gas.
we need to take breaks. I can't.
ruin our.
Also, this book is the Bad Box is 152 pages, so it also came out on September 1st, so it's new and fresh.
Wait, this? Oh my god. Okay. Well, we got one of the next ones.
We know this fresh.
And then-
Oh, so
That's
was
really it for this shitty episode.
no. This episode was great. You shut your fucking mouth. I spilled the whole bottle of wine on my pants.
You did.
It was
I'm
so
proud of you.
cold.
I want to find a way to get that action figure. I really want.
All right,
that
what's
thing.
this guy's name again?
Carlton Mellick III.
Carlton Mellick III. Action figure.
Just follow him on Twitter and fucking. I'm gonna ask him about.
Where do I? Yeah, just follow. Oh yeah, I think it's too old.
But this is like an entire world. Like this is its whole own genre with like conventions and shit. And there's people who do this.
I
for a
would
living.
never go to one of these conventions. Would you?
I would just to see what it was like.
God, you're a brave man, Brad.
Dude, can you imagine though? Like the awesome footage you could get from one of these things?
I don't want to.
Because like the people who write these books are serious. Like they're not. Okay. They write ridiculous things with like the intensity of someone who's writing it for real.
Yeah.
That's like the whole shtick of the bizarro genre. Do we got it? Do we got to share a link, Jordan?
For what? I didn't find it. I'm desperately trying to. Oh, Brad's. Oh, no, he took a picture of Kill Ball, Clusterfuck, The Ultra Fuckers, Sweet Story, The Tick People, and Cuddly Holocaust were just some of the books that.
Ooh, wait, here's a good one.
No.
Rampaging fuckers of everything on the crazy shitting planet of the vomit atmosphere.
No.
That is like a random word generator.
I don't want to read that. That sounds like we'll have poop and vomit. Does this man have a Twitter?
Yeah, I
Oh.
followed him earlier.
Oh. Huh.
No, I'm like immersing myself in this. Let's see what his most recent tweets are. Oh well, it's advertising about his newest book.
Yeah, a lot of advertising. He wrote about Fallout.
Oh no, he did. The Big Meat. I can't get over that fucking title.
The big meat.
Big Meat.
The big meat.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, is it Facebook? Oh no, it's a dead link. Well, anyway. Hold on. Ultra fuckers, welcome to suburban hell. Tony dreads the idea of going to his wife's company dinner party in Eagle Hills, the new upper middle class gated community just popped up outside of Scottsdale, Arizona. He hates these Southwest style planned suburban neighborhoods. All of the streets look the same. All the houses look the same. All the people look the same. Because everything in Eagle Hills looks exactly the same. Tony has trouble finding the dinner party. He quickly becomes lost in the sea of red tile roofs. The streets seem to go on forever. The addresses don't seem to make any sense. And after hours of navigating the suburban labyrinth, Tony discovers there's something terribly wrong with the Eagle Hills gated community. There's something unnatural about the houses around him. There's something inhuman about the people staring at him through the windows. No matter how far he drives, he can't seem to find his way out.
No.
Yeah, no, this is totally in our wheelhouse.
God. What a book. What a book.
It was fun. It was fun, and you know it.
It was good time. I actually now let's see. We rated this book a 3 out of 5 for overall storytelling because you know for what it was, I legitimately was like, huh. Okay.
I was curious about it.
You know, I was like, this is interesting. Now you gotta realize this is out of the books in these like weird genres. Like when we rate Redwall next week, we'll compare those to actual books.
Right, we'll actually give that a proper review. Now, this book, as opposed to a Slave,
this is not like an erotic novel. It just had sex in it.
It's like a Tommy Wiseau movie. It just had sex in it.
But yeah, solid 3 out of 5. Good work, Carlton. You wrote you a little book, and I can't imagine how much money you're making, but I'm fucking fascinated.
You
about
know,
this
I'm
because
proud of
I
him.
can't-
I'm proud of him for making any money off of this.
I want to do it. We fucking bought it.
We sure did. We sure did.
We're
Yeah.
gonna single-handedly.
We're gonna
fucking
keep
prop
doing this, and we're gonna get him on here, and it's gonna be a fucking weird time.
I would fucking kill to interview this guy.
God.
This shit is so interesting to me.
God,
That's all.
chat writes a book.
No, that'd be a nightmare.
No, fuck you guys.
Chad doesn't ever need to come near a book.
Oh,
Me and Jordan will co-author an erotic novel.
I want to write a erotic novel about how Brad wakes up one day with a vagina. That's
And
gonna
Jordan
be that's,
goes plunking inside of it.
and I'm gonna fucking plow Brad. That's it. That's my book. It's gonna be called.
That's it. We're not projecting.
It's gonna be called Slam Plumbing.
Dude, don't ever drag Slam. Don't even mention that name on this fucking podcast.
I'm gonna fucking do it now.
I'm trying to have a fucking solid boundaries between work and this fucking whole thing.
Pound plumbing.
Mention code word gentleman review for 10% off your next plumbing repair.
Yuck. Yuck.
If I ever hear that, I'm probably gonna hang up.
Type in code Slam Plumbing to get 10% off Quip.
Hey, Quip, dude, I fucking use their toothbrushes. They're amazing. I will shill for Quip.
Here you go. Good to you heard it here too. Sorry, brain shutting down. We're getting towards the end, but yeah, you heard it here first. Here, get yourself a Quip toothbrush. Brush your teeth. 2020 might be a rough year, but oral hygiene's something you shouldn't neglect, like your mental health or your well-being. You should at least brush those pearly whites and make those.
Brush your teeth. Take your medication and get plenty of sleep and drink lots of water.
Grab yourself a blanket, wrap yourself up for the night, get cozy. I'm gonna go cry and be just kind of sticky from wine and just read Redwall and enjoy a man who writes about mice eating fish.
Thank you everyone for listening to this nightmare of a podcast. We will see you next week. Next week will actually be Saturday. We only moved to Sunday.
There's a Halloween. Ooh.
So it'll be Saturday, 8 p.m.
Before we leave, let me just how do cell phones get around?
What? Oh no.
How do cell phones? They are mobile.
There it is. You heard it
Wait,
here first.
why do computers need insurance?
Last one and we're fucking done here.
In case the hard drive crashes.
Good jokes.
Have
Good
a cozy night, everybody.
I love you all.
Goodbye.